So let's get started on the items that you need. Of course, you're gonna need your pasta of choice. This time I'm just gonna use regular elbows, some butter, whole milk, and half. As far as your cheeses, you can pretty much use whatever combination of cheese that you like. I decided to use sharp cheddar and Colby Jack just because they are inexpensive cheeses. And I'm also gonna use this Campbell's cheddar cheese right here, and that is gonna go in my roux. So I'm gonna show you guys what I do with this in a little bit. You will also need an onion, and this is totally optional because I like my mac and cheese a little spicy, just like I like everything else. That's nothing new. But I have some habaneros that I have saved frozen in the fridge. So, you know, if you guys know anything about habaneros, they are spicy as hell. So I'm just gonna use one just to give my mac and cheese a little kick. But like I said, that's totally optional. Well, the things that you're gonna need for sure is the salt, pepper, and smoked paprika. As just an option, you can use garlic seasoning, basil, and red pepper flakes, because the cheese already has so much sodium in it that you don't have to add so much salt and garlic and like all these extra things. But I like to just give it a little extra kick, you know? So the very first thing that I do out of everything is I'm going to chop up my onion, and obviously this is like a really big one and I don't need all of that, so I'm just gonna use half of it. So I just took out my crock pot and I turned it on to warm because I am gonna add in my whole milk and my half and I want it to kind of get warm first in the crock pot before I add the cheeses in. So after chopping the onions, this is gonna be your next step. And I will admit, this is pretty bad because I never use measurements for anything. I just kind of do it based off of like what feels right, I guess. So I'm gonna put in equal amounts of whole milk and half. And then next, add in your onions. Okay, so this literally is just cheddar cheese, which is perfect for making mac and cheese, obviously. So I like to add this into my roux because it adds like a little extra cheesy flavor, if that makes any sense. So let me go ahead and pour it in now. Oh, okay, great. Mix it up until it's nice and smooth. So do you guys remember earlier the little habanero I showed you? So I actually already have this little mixture of habanero peppers that I turned into a sauce. So I'm just gonna use a little bit of that. But if I'm being completely honest, guys, this sauce is so spicy and I always forget how spicy it is. So I'm just gonna use literally a small amount, and that was probably even too much. So that is it for my little spice, and that's it. Okay, so now we are going to hand shred our cheese. Obviously, if I had a food processor that would do this for me, I would use it. But since I don't, I have to do this the long way. And I would 100% recommend getting blocks of cheese like this to grate. Just because if you guys get the shredded cheese, it has like this film on it. I guess it's the preservative, so it makes your cheese melt weird. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but like if you ever try to melt shredded cheese, it just like does not stick and it gets all gritty and lumpy and like it's just not nice. So you're gonna want to do this the hard way by actually grating blocks of cheese yourself. But like I said, if you have a food processor, it will make things so much easier and quicker for you guys. Wow, why was I using the small part this whole time? What is wrong with me? I was making it difficult for myself for no reason. I have no idea why I was doing that, as if this is like my first time using this cheese grater, but it's not. So Normally, I would actually use 3 different types of cheeses, but since we're all under self-quarantine right now, I was being a little frugal and only used 2 because I didn't want to use up all the other cheeses that I have because I want to use it for other things, you know? So if you're able to get your hands on 3 different cheeses, go ahead and do that. Now I'm adding my pasta in finally. And yes, you're gonna wanna add it in uncooked. Now you can finally add your cheeses in. Okay, that didn't work out good. So if you've never made Crockpot mac and cheese before, you're probably doubting my method right now, and you're probably looking at this like this is so disgusting. But I promise guys, you are never gonna wanna go back to baked mac and cheese after you make this. So I left about this much cheese to add to the top layer. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right now. Sprinkle a little bit more paprika in. Okay, and literally that's it. You're all done. So now you're gonna wanna put it on low heat for 3 hours.